Plaintiffs Lynette Drew and her mother, Sandra Carey, say Sandra was a crack addict for 8 years, and as a result, she became homeless. Sandra has been clean for 27 years, and now she manages a rental unit that Lynette owns. And they're suing their former tenant for rent and damages. Defendant Janice McDaniel says before she and her 6 children moved into the plaintiff's rental property, they failed to tell her that a pedophile lived right next door. Janice denies owing because she insists she paid her rent and she did not damage the unit.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you all.
With Judge Mathis, I'm from Chicago, born and raised here. 1983, I got caught up in crack. My life became a mess. I stayed that way for 8 years at that time. At the end, all my family and friends, when I was homeless, I became homeless. All my friends and family told me no because I had told so many lies and did so much wrong that everybody said no. So I had an opportunity to relocate to a town in Michigan, which I did. I went to Michigan, first year, stayed with the drugs. Worked at a job that a boss knew something was wrong with me, gave me a pamphlet one day and told me maybe it would help me. So I took the pamphlet home, put it on a table where I passed by every day. Every day I passed by, I was like, that's not me. But that one day I passed by it, I said, that is me. So God led me to be able to go into a treatment center in Grand Rapids. I stayed 30 days. And on day one, it was like 125 of us in this room. And they said, I just want to let you know only 1 or 2 of you are going to be clean. And I was like, whoa. I was like, Lord, if it's 2, I want to be in that number. If it's 1, I want it to be me. And to this day, and I have 27 years clean. Wow. So I know about homelessness, and I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy.
What was the difference between hitting rock bottom in Chicago and making your decision in Grand Rapids to go to treatment?
I asked myself who would take care of my daughter. I had a 6-7-year-old daughter with me at the time. I said if I chose to continue to use, who would take care of my daughter like me? And I realized nobody. And I was like, I gotta turn my own life around because my daughter was doing bad in school every day. She was coming home with something bad she had did that day. And when I went into treatment, when I came out, she was Citizen of the Week and Citizen of the Month. Wow. She turned her life around too. And this is my oldest daughter, and she's been a blessing and a savior to me because she finished college.
Now, from your understanding of recovery, is it hitting rock bottom that helps, or is it people who help you that determine the direction you go?
I needed to hit rock bottom, and I had to do it for myself, no matter what people were telling me, you know, that I should do or how I was, because in Chicago, I had lost weight, knocking on death's door, you know, skinny like everybody else gets because of the lack of food and everything else.
And people talk till they're red in the face and then it wouldn't change it.
No.
All right. You want to give me some background on yourself or on your association with the plaintiff?
Well, I'm from Columbus. I didn't meet them in Michigan. I met her youngest daughter, Yolanda, in high school. I moved, I think it was our junior year, because that's when I moved back to Columbus. About myself, I just recently completed an intensive 9-week training with a program called Perscolas, which I was the valedictorian of the class. I am now CompTIA A+ certified, working on my MBA.
What profession is that for?
IT.
Okay, good. Now one I didn't understand. Good.
Perscolas is, it's for the unemployed or underemployed. It's the most amazing program there is. They take you, and in 2 months, if you put in the work, you will come out A+ certified, and if you pass that certification, they will pay for the next 3, which can add anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000 a year to a salary, as long as you keep getting those certifications.
All right. Young lady, did you want to say anything about your friend or your associate?
Well, I'm actually here because I am the owner of the property in Ohio, and since I've relocated back to Chicago, my mother facilitated the move-in for Janice Edmonds.
Okay. And you don't know the defendant?
Yeah, she's actually my sister. She was one of my sister's good friends. Okay. So I saw her when I went back and forth to Columbus.
And that's why you all trusted, obviously, to rent to her?
Correct.
And what happened?
She actually, we had no problems.
When did she move in?
She moved in 2012.
And the rent was how much?
$650.
All right. And how did that go?
That went fine until May of 2014.
What happened?
Rent stopped. She said that they had started garnishing her wages, so that affected my money that was coming in bi-weekly. So we gave her time to deal with that. June, there was no rent. In July, I realized that I had, in fact, missed an email from her to explain why there was no rent. So we actually credited her security deposit and last month's rent for May and June. So rent due would have been for July because she was still in the residence, and we're suing for August because it still took us to the end of August to get the property back suitable for another tenant as well.
When did she leave?
She left July 12th.
All right.
24.
She actually gave me the date. I had asked her for a 30-day letter of intent to tell me that she was moving.
You sent her a notice to quit, meaning either you pay or move?
Yes.
And her response was?
She would be moving August the 1st.
And that's the email you missed?
Yes.
All right. And obviously it was a month-to-month and not a lease?
Correct.
All right.
I got caught up in crack. My life became a mess. At the end, all my friends and family told me no because I had told so many lies and did so much wrong that everybody said no.
Plaintiffs Lynette Drew and her mother, Sandra Carey, are suing their former tenant, who claims before she and her 6 kids moved in, Sandra and Lynette failed to disclose that a pedophile lived next door.
And $650 for July and August?
Yes.
That's $1,300. Where do we get the rest of it from?
The damages. And since I wasn't there, I'll let my mother explain.
Yes.
On the damages, when I went into the property, Judge Mathis, I have a video that you could see of how it looked when I went in.
All right, let's take a look.
I went through a window, and this is the living room where it's trash that was left. I had a window broke out. In other rooms, I had windows broke out. Trash was left in basically every room. That's another window that was broke out. That's the bathroom, and in the bathroom, when I went in there, that black bag was over the sink, so something was going on that I had to end up calling a plumber to repair the problem. And in that room also, a window was broke out. It was stickers and stuff all over the wall, tiny stickers, because she had small kids. I mean, tiny stickers that was really stuck on the walls. The kitchen floor, it was destroyed. It was a new floor when she moved in. I have some pictures I'll show you if you allow me.
Have you repaired these things yet?
Yes, sir. We took care of everything. Receipts? Yes, sir. We have receipts.
Let me have the receipts. A couple of things I'm seeing here. First of all, paint. All landlords repaint when the tenant leaves, or they should. So that's the first thing, $500 in paint. It should have been painted, even if she left it in spectacular condition. And this is, I don't know what that is. Tell me what that is.
That was
the wood underlayment that was needed for the kitchen floor.
Okay, and you have pictures of the kitchen floor?
You should.
All right, let's take a look. And What is this showing?
Oh,
that bag was over the sink in the bathroom when I went there.
Okay.
And then the sink wasn't working properly.
All right. And the floor, is this what I'm supposed to
Well,
see?
that's the cabinet. That cabinet door was removed off of that cabinet.
This is the kitchen floor.
That's the kitchen floor.
Okay. All right, ma'am, what do you want to tell me? Then we'll go over these damages she alleges.
Yes,
what do you
sir.
want to tell
Well,
me?
I did move in 2012. Miss Sandra moved me in and my 6 kids next door to her pedophile cousin and didn't tell me. She said that he wanted
How long after moving in did you know he was a pedophile?
He told me, I think it was that day or the next day. She said
Hold
that.
on, man. I gotta see how much sense you make. Not how much sense you got, how much sense you make. So I know you got good sense. You're working on your master's.
Yes,
so I know
sir.
you got real good sense.
Yes, sir.
The first day, next door neighbor comes and say, hey! Now you got 6 kids running around here. Just want you to know, I'm a known pedophile. That's all right, I'll just be here a couple years. Is that how that went?
No, sir.
Well, tell me how that went, ma'am. When you brought 6 children and a man told you on the first day he was a pedophile, and yet somehow you ended up there 2 years.
I had just given her all the money I had. I was staying with my sister who had her own issues with alcohol and drugs. My grandmother loaned me some of the money. That was everything I had.
For 2 years?
No. No.
When did you get some money?
Oh, I stayed broke. I had 6 kids. But
You had money to pay her rent the following months.
her rent was coming out of my paychecks automatically.
You were paying. Why couldn't you have that rent come out of your paycheck at a place where your 6 kids weren't living next to a guy who told you he was a pedophile the first day you and your 6 children moved in?
Well,
Or for 2 years thereafter?
Partly because most of that 2 years, Miss Sandra was scamming me out of money. Every time I turned around, it was the water bill's due every 2 months, and then she raised the water bill
That's even
amount.
more of a reason to move, man.
I couldn't
the
afford
first
to
month,
move.
you see, and you sound like you're scamming me because I know
No,
you
sir.
have good sense, you just don't have good game because what you're saying is not good, man. You know you're better than that.
I couldn't find another place to move. I
2
tried
years.
finding
That's
another
enough,
place.
ma'am. Let's move on.
I did move in 2012. Miss Sandra moved me in and my 6 kids next door to her pedophile cousin and didn't tell me. She said that he wanted
How
to...
long after moving in did you know he was a pedophile?
He told me, I think it was that day or the next day.
Plaintiffs Lynette Drew and her mother Sandra Carey are suing their former tenant, who claims before she and her 6 kids moved in, Sandra and Lynette failed to disclose that a pedophile lived next door.
What do you say about the rent and
I
the
didn't miss
property
any rent.
damage?
I didn't miss any rent. I
Okay.
didn't have... That was not like that when I left.
Okay.
I never heard the story of me being garnished wages in May before. I was
Have
never
you ever
been late.
been asked for rent that you did not pay?
No, sir.
This is the first time you've heard this?
Yes, sir.
All right. So why did you leave?
Between her scamming me for the water bill, her cousin and my son got into a fight. The furnace wasn't working, and when she did finally fix it, I got rushed to the hospital because the guy she had fix it didn't do it right. I had enough. My grandma said, you know, she was like you. Why did you stay that long? Why didn't you ask me for the money?
You have any evidence that you asked the woman for her rent and that she was late? She says this is the first she's heard or been accused of missing rent. You said you gave notice that she needed to move or pay. Didn't you tell me you gave her that?
Yeah, those were text messages, and we couldn't have our phone. That's where it is. I went today to see the...
Your phone, is it in the building? Because
Yes.
you said something about your phone. So it's on your phone if we allow you to go and get your phone?
Yes.
I'll see something where you request money for rent?
Yes.
All right, we're going to adjourn until you do that. And if we don't have it there, your claim will be dismissed. Okay, ma'am, once again, you're suing for rent as part of your claim, and the defendant says this is the first she's ever heard that you requested rent that she has not paid. And you said you had it on your cell phone that you were unable to bring in, so of course I made sure you were allowed to bring it in. So I'm sure you did. find it, because as I told you, were you not to present it this time, your claim will be dismissed. Do you have it?
I do not.
All right, your claim is dismissed. Have a good day.